Have you ever heard a whisper when no one was around? Sometimes, the things we can't see can teach us the most important lessons. This is the story of a boy named Charles and a mysterious adventure in the Whispering Woods. Charles was a curious boy who loved exploring. One day, after school, his friends dared him to enter the Whispering Woods, a place full of rumors about ghostly voices. Charles felt a chill run down his spine but decided to be brave. "I'll show them I'm not scared," he thought. As Charles and his friends sat on the playground, an older student shared stories about the Whispering Woods. "They say if you listen closely, you can hear a ghost asking for help," he said. Charles's eyes widened with excitement and fear. What if he really heard something? Gathering his courage, Charles decided to enter the woods alone the next day. As he stepped inside, the sunlight faded, and shadows danced around him. The trees seemed to whisper secrets. Suddenly, he heard a soft voice say, "Help me." Charles's heart raced. "Who's there?" he called, but only silence answered. Then, Charles saw a girl in a white dress standing by a tree. "I'm Lucy," she said softly. "I'm lost and can't find my way home." Charles felt sorry for her and wanted to help. "I'll help you, Lucy," he exclaimed. But as he approached, she began to fade. "Wait!" Charles shouted. He remembered a story about a treasure hidden in the woods. Maybe it could lead Lucy home. He searched around and found an old, crumpled piece of paper. It was a map. Charles's heart raced with excitement. "Let's find your treasure," he said. Together, they studied the map. Charles felt a strange connection with Lucy, who seemed happy to have someone by her side. "This way," Charles said, pointing to a path. As they walked, Charles learned that Lucy loved to climb trees and play hide and seek. Soon, they reached a bubbling stream filled with colorful fish. "This is my favorite spot," Lucy said with a smile. They sat by the water, laughing as they splashed each other. Charles realized how much fun it was to have a friend, even if she was a ghost. As they continued their journey, the woods grew darker, and strange sounds filled the air. Charles felt scared. "What's that noise?" he asked, clutching Lucy's hand. "It's just the trees talking," Lucy reassured him. "They like to tell stories too." They soon came across an enormous tree with a friendly face carved into its trunk. "Hello, little travelers," the tree said in a deep voice. "What brings you to my woods?" Charles explained their quest to find Lucy's treasure. "Remember, the path is not always easy," the tree advised. Following the map, they found a hidden cave. Inside, sparkling crystals lit the darkness. "Wow!" Charles gasped. "This is beautiful." As they explored, Lucy told Charles about how she used to come here to play. "I wish I could have visited with my friends," she said sadly. Exiting the cave, they entered a clearing filled with glowing fireflies. Charles laughed and twirled around, inviting Lucy to dance with him. "This feels like a fairy tale," he exclaimed. The fireflies seemed to cheer them on, lighting up their joy. Suddenly, a dark shadow loomed behind the trees. "What was that?" Charles whispered, feeling scared again. Lucy squeezed his hand. "Don't worry, it's just the woods testing your bravery," she said. Charles took a deep breath and faced the shadow. "I'm not afraid," he shouted. They came across a broken bridge over a rushing river. "How will we get across?" Charles wondered. Lucy thought for a moment and then said, "Let's find a way to fix it." Together, they gathered fallen branches and created a makeshift bridge. Charles felt proud of their teamwork. On the other side of the river, they met a wise old owl perched on a branch. Who? What brings you two here?" it asked. Charles explained their quest, and the owl gave them advice. "Remember, sometimes what you seek is not as important as who you become on your journey." They entered an enchanted clearing filled with colorful flowers and soft music. Charles felt a sense of peace wash over him. "This place is amazing," he said, picking a flower for Lucy. "Thank you, Charles. This is the happiest I've felt in a long time," she replied, her eyes sparkling. While exploring the clearing, they discovered an old box buried in the ground. Inside were trinkets and letters from children who used to play in the woods. "These are their memories," Lucy exclaimed. "I hope they remember me too," she added softly. As the sun began to set, Lucy grew quiet. "Charles, I think it's time for me to go," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Charles felt a pang of sadness. "But I don't want you to leave," he protested. "You've become my friend." Lucy smiled gently. You'll always carry my memory in your heart. Promise me you'll share our adventures. Charles nodded, feeling determined. I promise. I'll tell everyone about you, Lucy. They shared a warm hug, and Charles felt a sense of peace wash over him. As Lucy began to fade, she whispered, "Thank you for being my friend. Remember, I'll always be with you." Charles watched as she disappeared, feeling both sad and grateful. He knew their friendship would last forever. Charles walked home, feeling different. He had faced his fears, made a friend, and learned the importance of kindness. From that day on, he always remembered to listen to whispers, for they might lead to a friend in need. He knew that helping others, even those who seem lost, could bring the greatest joy. Moral of the story. Helping others can bring light to even the darkest places, and friendship knows no bounds, not even between the living and the lost.
Please subscribe, like, comment, and share if you liked the story.